So I just went to McDonald's, and the experience was odd. Things have changed a lot. And it was interesting because while I was standing inside after I'd gone through the drive-thru. That gives you indication number one of how it went. I got there. The drive-thru was not too full. They had just closed off the inner lane. The outer lane was the only one working, but there was one vehicle that was in the inner lane that was trying to get into the main drive-thru. Watching cars zip up to make room for the person behind them at the one lane, but at the same time not really making room for the other guy. And so the other guy gets out. There's like a chair in the middle of the lane rather than a cone to signify that it's closed. Like, all right. Building's been remodeled recently. Everything's fairly modern. They have 3 windows now. Now, I knew that they had 3 windows for a while, but it still gets me. Used to be window number 1, window number 2. And you either pay at window 1 and get your food at window 2, or you pay and get your food at window 2. Window 3 is what used to be the pull ahead and we'll run it out to you. Now they've got a window for occasional people to pull ahead to, but they also have the area for you to pull around. And of course a separate door to come out and do that. So waiting in this enormous line and drive-thru, and finally get to my spot and pay for the thing, and the girl's like, rushing the person on getting the sodas. Hurry up, there's cars, hurry up, let's go. So they get the soda, hand me the bag, and out the door, and I check the bag, and it didn't occur to me for a half second that the French fries are not in it. I got a couple of value meals. And so then I get through, and I pull around, and I realize this, and I pull back around. And of course, the way that this is located in town is on a corner, but it's not at the corner, and the turn lanes are such that on the main thoroughfare you cannot get out and turn left, which is the way I needed to go. So I pull in, go through the drive-thru, come all the way around, have to go all the way around the parking lot to come out the other end to be able to come around the main thoroughfare and go left. And by the time I'm out there, I'm like, shit, my fries. So I pull back in, and I have to go back around through. So I get in, and of course, since the pandemic, they've done the online ordering app. When I went through the drive-thru initially, the first question asked was, are you going to be using the app to order? And I said no. And they said, okay, order when you're ready. So then I went up and went through, and I paid in cash, and it was all fine. Got into the lobby to get my fries. Had to really wait for a minute before the manager come up and said something. Then asked people to get a couple of large fry out because somebody from drive-thru was missing them. And the people making the fries kept putting them out the window instead. So I stood there for like 5 minutes waiting on these fries. While I was there, somebody came in, or somebody was in there for a curbside order. The curbside came out. They didn't say the name or anything. They just said curbside up and set it down and went back in and did their thing. The girl's like looking, and then she calls the manager, excuse me, this is my curbside. She shows her the thing and takes it. It was such a cluster. There was another one sitting waiting for somebody else that no idea who it was for. Then there was an older gentleman and somebody else that he was with. I didn't see if it was a lady or a man. Sitting in the lobby dining room. They were the only people in the dining room. And the guy comes up, he wants to order something else. The manager sees him there and speaks at large to the room, which consists of me and him, and they already know that I'm waiting for my fries. Anybody wanting to order at this point, go ahead and please use the kiosk. Thank you. And then there's like these little self-order things, and they're all card swipe only. So like if I was in there to order and I had cash, I'd be screwed. The guy's just like, this was some shit straight out of some kind of weird post-apocalyptic comedy. So I finally get my fries. I'm very calm and patient and cool. Everybody seems appreciative or whatever. Honestly, the food looked really good. The quality, the neatness of it, and everything seemed to be really good. They just forgot to give me my fries. The girl on the window was trying to rush me through. And from the time that I was third car back from the second window, as the first window was not being used, even though they said pull ahead to the first window. there was a silver pickup that was up. This is the truck that was waiting to get out of the lane, right? And they got ahead of the two cars ahead of me. And then we got up to there, and then they're waiting at the third window, and the other car gets their food and leaves. And then the vehicle in front of me gets their food and leaves, and I pull up and I get most of my food and leave. And I go around the block, around the thing, and I come back in and I'm waiting. And as they're bringing out the fries to me, they're bringing out whatever's going to this truck at the third window, which has been at the third window for over 10 minutes. But the other thing that was weird about it is, used to be when you would go into McDonald's, there was a huge front counter with like 4 or 5 registers and a big menu up over the back of the top of everything. Deals and Happy Meal promos and everything else, right? And it was a friendly environment, colorful, cool, right? And as I'm standing in this lobby, and they got the big LCD screen, and it's running through little advert human interest things for people while they're waiting, and one of them was comparisons of the different logos and what was your era. Well, my era was what they called the 1975 one, because I was born in 80, and they didn't change it again until 92. So my entire childhood growing up with McDonald's in the cultural advertisement space and everything was all the red square, and what you call classic 80s McDonald's is actually the 75 design. So I'm like, yeah, that's interesting. And then I'm looking at the inside of this place, and I'm just like, the lobby's got this weird, dead, postmodern, like, corporate art thing going on with these weird, swoopy shapes of, like, wood paneling and fake wood paneling and metal girders and what almost look like antenna rods or something, like for the faux structural, interior architecture or whatever. And of course, they've long since moved the sodas off to the side. And but what they got here is they have one little handoff food counter that's about a 3.5 foot by 3.5 foot, and they got the space in between for the employees to walk back and forth. And then they've got 2 little registers with tills and the little cup dispenser thing right there. And they're scrunched together. The entire counter space, plus the gap, plus the other handoff is like 3 foot by like 8 foot. And it's guarded on the side. There's this has almost got to be prevents people from throwing stuff at the staff or from shooting from outside. Because from the main door going in, there's it looks like it's been water jet cut, CNC'd out metal with some kind of a design, but it is yellow plate metal that has been bolted up with these pillars. So it's like safety yellow. The walls are this weird slate gray brick pattern. It's very corporate, very dead, very soulless. None of the people that were working appeared to like what they were doing. I mean, they were doing a good job with it, but nobody seemed happy. They were all just, can I help you? Here you go. This is all just soul crushing. And this nasty gray with the weird safety yellow, it's supposed to harken to the golden arches, but this shit is out of some kind of a post-apocalyptic, some kind of it's either a Doomslayer Quake type horror, or it's some kind of a idiocracy type, satire comedy of the future. But it's like looking at this and just remembering what things used to be. It's insane. Just the such a different experience, and comparing with my memory for what it was, back in the day, that there was usually a dark brown. Eventually, they upgraded the walls to from a faux brick or faux wood paneling to some. For a while, it was like a green color, and it was decent. It matched with the floors or whatever. Eventually, everything gets completely changed out. The old buildings are gone, the new buildings are in, and the new specs for what they want these buildings to look like is just soulless, corporate, prison block design. Why would you design the restaurant to demoralize the customers as well as the employees? But that's what it was like inside this place. And it's like, this is your typical McDonald's now. Predominantly online, predominantly cashless, and everyone that works there looks like they have just had a thumb stuck up their butt before the shift. It was, I don't know, man. I'm loving it. Food, folks, and fun, all that. Nah. Shut the fuck up and use the self-order kiosk. McDonald's.